Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a look at two brushes. I've been kindly sent out a new box set for 2025 by Galleria, and we're going to look at the specs now close up, and then we're going to move in, do some demo spraying with it, and I'll talk you through my experiences with these styles of airbrushes as we paint. So let's take a look. Right guys, first up is the Mobius SP. This is a siphon feed airbrush. So you've seen in the little clip, you've got your jar to the bottom, you've got your paint flow adjust at the back. The next one down, you've got your tensioner for your trigger when you move backwards. So a nice looking brush, slanted body here. So when you hold it and you clip your airline in to the bottom, you've got like that slant here, so you can put your fingers here and hold it like that. So you've got something for your fingers to go against here when you hold it. And I usually bring my other hand up. Whenever I hold a siphon feed, I always bring the other hand up and just hold the jar, and you sort of work it like that. I think it's the most comfortablest way to work with it. You've got a slanted trigger, so if you sit over the front like this, you can put the pad of your finger on the trigger there, like that. Hold it like that for your detail. Now this brush comes in you get two needle and nozzle sizes with it. You get a 0.3 and you get a 0.5. And they'll have different spray characteristics between the two. You'll find when you put the 0.5 in, you'll be able to spray slightly thicker bodied paints. You'll get a wider spray pattern, so a little bit wider. And the 0.3, you're just tightening that spray pattern up. The 0.3 is in this. I've got some black golden high flow. We're running, I've got 25 on the main line on this, but I can just slightly dial it in on the Mac valve here. So we've pulled the paint through, and we'll just do a little spray and just see what it's like. Now this paint is really thin, and the paper I'm working on is quite smooth, so I can't really hammer the paint down on this. So on the 0.3 you can get down on the detail. Atomise is nice. This is 25 psi with very thin paint. So nice for spraying with. These are great for t-shirt painting because you can wallop the paint down. They really want to get the paint down, I find, with these type siphon feeds. They just want to get the paint out. They're quite fierce on air. We drop that down. See, when you're t-shirt painting, you will be running higher pressure. You won't be running the sorts of low pressures when you're doing your real detailed work. You'll be running real low pressure. Now this is low pressure on this. If it looks a little bit inconsistent on the paint flow, it's the paint. Guaranteed it's the paint on this, guys, because it's a very old paint. I have strained it. But low pressure is nice on the 0.3. Bring that back up. And these things, you just want to get the paint down with them. Now, as I say, I've worked with these style brushes in the past, these siphon feeds, and I've got an Iwata, was my original one. Same weight and characteristics as this one. You've got your jar to the bottom, and you can take them out. If you want to quickly sort of colour change, I usually have a bottle that's filled with the cleaner. So you take your colour out, clip your cleaner straight in, blast it through like that, get your next colour, push it in the bottom like that, pull it through, and then you're good to go. Nice paint splatter there as I press down on the trigger. Just always make sure when you do quick change colouring with these, when you change your jar, move your brush to the side and give it a real good blast through, pull your paint through, and then go in, and then you won't get that splatter. It's just cleaning the paint through as you're blasting through. So 0.3 works really nice. A comfortable trigger. I tend to find, with me, I work to the top of triggers. I think this would have been nicer with a flatter trigger, but they've catered for both really. You've got sort of a flattish top here, and you've got your slope over the front. So if you do sit over the front, you'll get on with it really nice. If you sit to the top like I do, I sort of sit here, so I work it there like that. So you can work it, and you'll get on with it if you sit to the top of the trigger. But me personally, I think it would have been nicer, less tilt over the front, just slightly bring it back down. But I think it has to go sort of this way, because you can see how the body goes here, like that. But you'll get on with it. Either way, you'll get on with it. Comfortable, does the job, nice to hold the jar here. They're just a workhorse, you know. Model painters will absolutely love them because you can hold your miniatures and you can back off and you can get a nice spray pattern down. Atomises the paint well, and it gets it down. Full trigger really does pump the paint out on these things. So that's the siphon feed on the Mobius SP 03 and 05. Right, next up, the Mobius TG on a 0.5mm. Now this has got two caps with this. You get the fan cap and you get a spot cap. I'll demo both and show you how you change them over. Single trigger action on this, so you'd put your finger there like that and then grip the body. You've got a nice body on this that you can grip hold of, and your airline clips under here. You've got a Mac valve to the front. I'll show you how this works. It sort of adjusts the airflow, your airflow to the front. You've got your adjuster for your tension on your trigger. I've found with these, go full tension on these. You don't need this to be any softer. You need that tension there. And then you've got your paint adjuster to the back. So this will dial in your trigger. If I move that right the way forward, it stops the trigger to there. And then when you start to move it out, you'll get more movement on your trigger. So that will just give you a certain amount of paint as you go through. I usually go full on that, just leave that open, and then you can feather the trigger to what you want by your finger. Nice and easy. Nice big shiny chrome cup to the top, so no dramas cleaning, getting your paint out. Cap fits nice to the top as well. Doesn't fall off, so it's nice fitting cap. And then you've got your prong cap to the front there. To take the prong cap off, you undo the sleeve on the body here, like that, and then you slide the prong cap off, like that. You get the spot cap, and that just fits over the front, like that, and then you put the sleeve back on. So it's a nice way of changing the front over. I've got another couple of brushes like this with the fan cap and the spot cap. It's the same sort of principle. You just unscrew, you get on with it easy. It's not a fiddle to do, it's nice and easy. And that's your spot cap on. So we'll drop some paint in. We'll try the spot cap first. It's the same paint mix. Now you'll find these really want to push out. It's a 0.5. We've got 25 psi on the main line, and we're just going to give it a little. Now this really does hammer the paint down, guys. That wasn't even full trigger, and that's getting a lot of paint down. As you can see, it's very thin paint, and this paper is very smooth, so I can't really hammer it down to get full opacity, because it's just going to run down the panel. If it was a t-shirt, it's just soak in, or a more like a canvas, different again. So you can see that spidering because it's thin. This is a 0.5. Now if we drop that pressure down, on the Mac valve at the front. Now you can really detail up with this very easily on a 0.5. Just touch the trigger and you can get some really nice passes down. So it will hammer the paint out. This is low pressure. It will hammer it out. If you want to get the paint down, 25 psi, and you can prime, base coat dead easy with that, and that's just the spot cap. So it really does get the paint down and out quick on like 25, and then you can start to dial it in and you can really detail up with it. You can get some nice passes with that on a 0.5 for a trigger airbrush. I think that's really sensitive and smooth, that is. It really is. So just getting your paint mix right, tweaking your air pressure, you've got that adjustability on this, and you can really dial in and get this brush to work small and wallop the paint down. So I'm going to give this a little change up on the cap. Move that. Just adjust this cap. You can move your fan cap round. So that puts down, if anything, we want more air pressure. That puts down an easy 2-inch pass at that. I'm around, we're going to go up the air pressure on this. I'm around 3 inches away from the panel, and that puts down a clean pass of paint. Most of these fan airbrushes like this, when you put too much air pressure on, you'll see a separation in the pass of paint. It'll go top and bottom heavy. Now that was spraying nice at that air pressure. 25 on this, and I think it wants more. It really does. And that's putting clean. That really is putting a clean pass down. Right, fresh bit of paper, because you can soon cover some paper up with this. I've got some kitchen towel there. Now you can see the nice pattern on that. That's putting a very even coat down, you see that? Probably just seeing a faint bit here. Because you do get separation if you're not careful, if you're cranking it too much. But once you get this brush set up, that puts a really nice coat down of paint. Nice clean there. You know? Start backing off with it. You can just see how it's going top, bottom, because you're sort of quite far away. Give it a little bit more air. Gets a little bit cleaner. But I think the sweet spot for these ones with the fan caps, because you're going into minigun territory like now, you want to get that. If you want to get the paint down and get really good coverage on something big, you go for a minigun. Hands down, you go for a spray gun, a little mini spot repair gun, and that really will give you a bigger fan pattern but cleaner. These ones are more close up. You're not going to get that coverage to cover like a gas tank with this. It just wouldn't happen putting clear coat through it. Base coats, things like that, up at around 3 inches away, you're getting that nice clean pattern, and it puts it down nice. That distance, it really does put the paint down nice. 2 or 3 inches away, you're getting a nice clean fan pattern. And that atomises lovely on that, really does. So a very useful brush. Brilliant for model painters. If you want to get the paint down, you'll soon cover a model painting with one of these if you put in your base coats or even your primers, you know. Be absolutely fine with your solvents because you've got a like Teflon from washer on the nozzle, so the front end is good for solvents. Same as with the SP, you'll get the same thing. Running them sort of paint's not a problem. If you get paint over this body, it will come off. It's like a hard plastic, but just keep it sort of clean to the front. You shouldn't get any paint here. Just keep your hands clean on what you're doing and you'll be absolutely fine. But I think it's a good brush. It really is. Very responsive on the trigger for the paint. So if you wanted to like just puff in a little area, if you was doing spot repair on a car and you wanted to put some colour down, you could just tickle the paint in with this for a blend or whatever, and it'd be great. And then you can use your bigger gun for putting your clear coat down, but great for something like a little bit of spot repair. So yeah, that's the Galleria Mobius TG on 05. Both brushes come into their own at certain times. Like model painters, both brushes you'll get on brilliant with. Custom painters, both brushes, they'll be great for. If you're going into real detailed portrait work, you wouldn't be picking up a siphon feed, you'd be picking up a top cup or a side feed airbrush. You use these at certain times. They'll be on your shelf, but when you do use them, they're great workhorses and they get the job done. And they're basically, I think, for getting that paint down. You want to get like a good pass of paint, because when you're using your normal airbrush, yes, they will get some paint down, but they won't get it down as quick and as a bigger pass than the ones that we've looked at today. So 2 great brushes that were sent out. Big thanks to Galleria for sending these out so I could do this demo for you. But a very nice box set, you know. It's a box set that I would personally leave in the box because they're only making so many of them. So it's like a collector's type piece. And they're nice just to as a presentation box. But usability, absolutely fine. If you've got the normal Mobius, you'll get on with these absolutely fine. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll leave a link in the description to Galleria so you can nip over and look at the brushes and things like that. And I'll see you lot in the next one. Cheers.